Hello, friends. Happy Thursday. Hope your day is going great so far. Let's jump right into it. We're going to be doing chapter 18 in this book, Essential Truths of Christian Faith, or Essential Truths of the Christian Faith by R.C. Sproul. And chapter 18 talks about the justice of God. I had to read this chapter twice, y'all, because it gets deep, and I feel like if you don't really follow it to what it's saying, you might get lost. Even though he said, because R.C. Sproul here says 100 teachings or key teachings in plain language, it is plain language, but I feel like he still uses terms and analogies that I'm like, what? So you might have to listen to this video again when I'm done, and I might have to read this chapter once again. So I'm going to do my best as far as going through it. We might not be able to finish it today, which we could. It's only like a page and a half, which is what each chapter is. They're short and sweet, like straight to the point. But let's get to it. So this title of just the justice of God, I feel like it's something that I pondered for so many years, and I was like, okay, what is justice and what is the definition? Because the Bible says that God is a just God, and to what he is, we honestly don't have a reference point to say, okay, well, God is like this, because God is just so much higher, and his intelligence is so much, higher than ours is. Just a little disclaimer, my son is watching my 9-year-old is watching my 2-year-old downstairs. There's a big possibility they might just come storming in here. So if they do, I'm really sorry. So let's get to it. Justice is a word we hear every day, okay? We use it in personal relationships, in social conventions, with respect to legislation, and to the verdicts rendered in courts. For me, justice is just like Lady Justice, I think, that she's like blind and she has like balance, that we are held to, that we, that courts have to be, and judges have to be just in the ruling that they have to make. As commonplace as the word is, it has perplexed philosophers who seek an adequate definition of it. And the reason why is because, and he goes on to it here, but in order for us even to apply justice, there has to be like an underlying truth as far as what is good and what is not, right? Because, I can have my own system of justice in my house, or I say eating candy is good and eating broccoli is bad. And to that point, it is kind of subjective. But when we are talking about justice of the Bible, the justice of the Bible talks about, I'm saying, we know that the one who makes the rules is God, and his ultimate, idea of what is good and what's bad, and what his law in that sense, he is the one who dictates it. He is the one who says what is good, what is right, what is wrong, what is evil, and that's why, he says here that so many philosophers, this has perplexed so many philosophers, and it wouldn't be so, perplexing if they just come to the conclusion that this is right. The Bible is right. The Bible is our guide because it's the word of God. Our Creator, wrote it for us to know, to give us direction of what is right, what is wrong. And also the fact that it says that he is just. And what does that even mean, So it says here, sometimes we link or equate justice with what is earned or deserved, right? So if I do something, if I work, it is just for them to pay me. If I don't, it is just for them not to pay me, right? We speak of people getting their just deserts in terms of rewards or punishment. But rewards are not always based upon merit, okay? Rewards are not always based upon the fact that I deserve it, all right? Suppose, and he goes into a little example here. He goes, suppose we hold a beauty contest and declare that a prize will be rewarded to the person deemed most beautiful, like physically. Whoever's most beautiful is going to be the winner, okay? If the beauty wins the prize, it is not because there is something meritorious in being beautiful. Rather, justice is served when the most beautiful contestant is rightfully awarded the prize. So we look at who is beautifully, looking at our merits, and see, it's just for them to say, okay, you are the winner, all right? If the judges vote someone they do not deem the most beautiful, say if they award to somebody, hey, you're the most beautiful, but for other reasons, like for political reasons or because they're bribed, then the outcome of the contest will be unjust, right? Like, okay, we were supposed to pick somebody who was beautiful, and you, because somebody slipped you a 20, or for political reasons, we deem somebody else beautiful. That's unjust, right? Because we had set standards, they were not met in the judgment that was done. Okay, so that was unjust. For reasons as you know, the example that we just used, for reasons such as the above, Aristotle, who was one of the big philosophers, defined justice as this. So he looked at justice. I don't believe he was not a Christian, but he looked at justice in this definition. Okay, he said, giving a person what he or her is due. Okay, what they deserve, what they're supposed to get. What is due may be determined by ethical obligations or by some prior agreement. Like we said, you know, you can't really be just in the way that you enforce anything if you don't have prior agreements as to what are they going to be awarded or why they were going to be awarded this, like we did in the beauty contest. Okay, if a person is punished, if a person is punished or if a person is punished more severely than his crime deserves, the punishment is unjust, right? So for example, if I steal something and they tell me, okay, well, you stole this, so now you're gonna have to be in jail for 50 years, that's unjust, right? Because I am getting more punishment than what I deserve from the crime that I got. It's unjust. Also, if a person receives lesser reward than she has earned, and the reward is not just. So we're looking at those two things that are not just. All right. How does mercy relate to justice? Because we know that God is a just God, and we're going to see later on why he's a just God. But how does mercy come into this? Because the Bible is very clear that God is a merciful God. Okay. And we see that all over scriptures. So looking at even just a definition of what justice is and what mercy, like what role does mercy play with all of this? Okay. Mercy and justice are obviously different things, though they are sometimes confused. Some people are confused with mercy and justice. Like they think it's the same thing. I think for years I thought it was the same thing too, but they're not. They're totally not, okay? Mercy occurs when wrongdoers are given less punishment than deserved or greater reward than they earned. That's mercy. Okay, if for example my child does something, like I told you not to do this and they did it, well, they deserve a punishment, but what I do, I show mercy by saying, you know what, you're not going to get that punishment. That's showing mercy. Okay, saying that you deserve justly, my child deserves to get whatever taken away or consequence because you didn't listen to me, but for this time I'm going to let it slide or something. That's mercy. I have showed mercy to them. Okay, you see how that's not the same thing as justice? Justice would be, you know, you did not do what I asked you to do. I'm your parent, I have the authority. So justice would be, this is the consequence that you deserve. That's just. Mercy is you're not going to get that punishment. Okay, God tempers his justice with mercy. Thank the Lord. Like, this is amazing that God can be just to give us what we deserve. But I love how it says here he tempers, meaning there's mercy even in his justice. Okay, his grace is essentially a kind of mercy, and grace is amazing. Even grace is not mercy. Mercy, like I said, is saying you deserve this, so I'm not going to give you this. That's mercy. You're not getting what you deserve. Grace is getting something you don't deserve. So grace is my child disobeys me. Justice means you deserve the consequence. You deserve the punishment. Mercy is I'm not going to give you your punishment. But grace is I'm only not going to give you the punishment, but I'm going to give you something you don't deserve. And that is the grace that we as children of God receive, the gift of grace, you know what I'm saying, which is Christ himself. That was gracious. We were enemies of God. Justly, we go straight to hell justly because we fall short. We did not listen to God. We fall short as far as his 10 commandments, the laws. We reject God. So justly, God can send us, to punishment. But he chooses mercy by not giving us punishment, and grace, which is Jesus. Like, you disobeyed me. It's like saying to my child, okay, you disobeyed me. Here's $10. Like, that's grace. You know what I'm saying? Continuing on, let's see. All right. God is gracious to us when he withholds the punishment we deserve, and when he rewards our disobedience, despite the fact that we owe obedience to him, and so we do not merit any reward. So he rewards us, okay, despite the fact that we were disobedient to him and that we need to be obedient to him. All right. Mercy is always voluntary with God. This is something that's so key here. God wills to be merciful. He doesn't have to be merciful at all. I don't have to be merciful to my kids. I set the rules. This is what you need to do. If you fail that, with love, I have to discipline you. You know what I'm saying? That's the law. But God, he shows his mercy to us, but it's strictly voluntary. He doesn't have to. All right. He is never obligated to be merciful. He reserves the right to exercise his grace according to the good pleasure of his will. All right. And he says to Moses, and here we see in Romans 9:15, it says, I will have mercy on whoever I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whoever I will have compassion. God is a sovereign, all-knowing God, perfect, and he, like I said, this is something that he is the one who chooses to do it, and we see this throughout the scriptures. Going on, it says, people often complain that because God does not distribute his grace or mercy equally on all people, he is therefore not fair. Okay, we complain that if God pardons one person, he is therefore obligated to pardon everyone. We said, okay, well, you pardoned this guy, so now you have to pardon me. And that's not the case. God, everybody is due to have justice. God will show justice. The Bible says clearly, even here in Romans 9:15, that he will choose who he determines to have compassion on and mercy on. And this adds to who he is, to his character, that he doesn't have to, but he voluntarily chooses to. So I'll stop it right there. And then, because that was enough that I said, and we will finish this chapter tomorrow. But think about that, chew on that. Understand that justice, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, God is a just God. And finishing the chapter, we're going to see what that even equals to, or how it is that we can see that more clearly when it comes to God and us, how he is just. But know the difference between mercy and between grace. Mercy, we don't get what we deserve. Grace, we get rewarded. We not only not get what we deserve, but we get what we don't deserve. We got Jesus. We didn't deserve him. That was grace. Think about that, chew on that, and just remember also that God is not obligated to show his mercy to anybody. You know what I'm saying? If he chooses to, for some of us, which the Bible is very clear about that, it's because he chooses to. And he, if anybody, has the right to do that. He's the only perfect, he's the only holy one, and that's why he's the only one that gets to show his mercy on who he chooses to show his mercy to. Yeah, that's about it. Chew on that. If you have any questions, like I'm sure you're going to, like I did, that's why I had to read this chapter twice. Probably message me and we can discuss it. We can talk about it. Okay. All right, guys, have an amazing day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.